Hi everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's episode of Dye Time I'm going to be dyeing this cotton embroidery floss. Now the colours that I've got today were picked by my Facebook fans. I listed all of my Fibre reactive dyes, and the ones that got the most votes were Blue Violet, Lavender and Mermaid's Dream. So I'm going to speckle this one, and then I'm going to paint another one, I think. So I've got my gloves on, I've got my mask on. I'm just taking a little pinch of Blue Violet. I'm just going to ever so slightly just randomly speckle with it. There we go. Now this is cotton, so it needs fibre reactive dye, and this has been soaking in soda ash and water for probably about an hour now. Now I've got an extra skein here, which I'm just going to rub my fingers on to get all that extra dye off. There we go. And then I'm going to wash my hands, dry them, and go into number 2. Go on to lavender next. So I'm just grabbing again the tiniest amount and just rubbing my fingers ever so lightly to try and get the dye. I didn't get much that time. There we go. Just the tiniest bits everywhere. There we go. And again, using this to get the extra dye off my fingers, and it creates a nice extra skein as well. Now I'm washing my hands and drying them completely before going into the next dye, because I don't want to contaminate the dye, and I also don't want to introduce moisture into the powder. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to leave this just for a few minutes, and then we'll flip it and dye the other side. But if you look at the little skein that I'm using as a mop, you can see these colours are absolutely gorgeous together. So thank you very much for everyone who voted for these. I absolutely love this colour combination already. Now while I leave this for a few minutes before we flip it, I can go on to my second skein, which I am going to paint with some dye I've already mixed up into solution. Now I've got, what am I doing? Hang on. I've got my 3 pots. It's Lavender, Mermaid's Dream and Blue Violet. So I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in and splodge some about. Now I have got some water to just rinse my paintbrush off in, but I'm not worried about having it completely clear. I don't mind if there's a bit of colour transfer, because this is already in solution. There we go. That was Mermaid's Dream. Now going into the Blue Violet. And now all the equipment I'm using here is dedicated for dyeing. I don't use it for food or anything else. And I've just put a towel down on my table just to try and protect it a little bit. And I've got all the floss is on some cling film as well. There we go. All these colours look absolutely lovely together. I think I'll add a little touch more lavender up the top there. There we go. I don't mind if there's any white patches, but I don't want too many. I think, yeah, we'll leave this now, and move back to this skein. So I'm just going to flip this now, and so I can speckle on the other side. Moving on to the lavender. I'm going to try going a little bit heavy on this because I think the blue violet and the Mermaid's Dream are going to be quite overpowering. This is, so I'm just going to go all over, quite heavy. Yeah, in powder form it looks quite pastel, whereas where here, when it's liquid, it's quite strong. So I'm going to just try opening this up a little bit. Trying not to use the fingers that I'm going to be speckling with because I don't want, this is damp and I don't want to introduce moisture into here. So in this weird way. Oh. There we go. That's a bit better. There we go. Yeah, happy with that one. And I think I'll put a tiny amount of blue violet on this, but it's not going to be much. Just the tiniest little bit here. There we go. There we go. That's all I'm going to do now. I'll leave that. Put my fingers on this. There we go. And now I'm going to go back to the painted one. Oop. Flip it over. Get my little skein I'm using as a mop. Just get that little excess there. Oh. There we go. Right. It looks pretty good to me. I'm going to, what's this one? Lavender, I think. Just little splodges. Let's see, Mermaid's Dream. This one seems to be quite blue dominated, so I'm gonna, oh no. Okay, let's just see. Try and get those last little white bits. I don't mind if there's any white, but I don't particularly want any, so I'm just going to give it a little massage now. Just try and get the dye all the way through because the strands of floss are sticking together. So you can see I open it up and there's some white in there. The wonderful thing about cotton is that it doesn't need any heat to set it. All I need to do now is, let's use my little mop again. There we go. Now since this has been soaking in soda ash and water, all I need to do now is roll it up and leave it in somewhere not too hot, not too cold, and just leave it for at least 48 hours, but I'll probably end up leaving it more than that because I generally do. And there we go. That one's done. Put that to the side. Come back to this one. And again, I'm just going to try and pat down some of the dye which is on the cling film rather than on the fibre. But there we go. There's that. And oh, this is a mess now. Oh, doesn't matter. Again, just fold up this cling film. That's another reason why I like putting these on cling film, because I can just use it like this, roll it up, and then just leave it for the longer the better, really. There we go. So I'll probably come back to this in 2 or 3 days and see what we have then. It's been 3 days now since I started this. So let's unroll everything, see what we've got. So this one was the one I painted. Ooh, that's lovely. And then we've got the one I speckled in here, and the one I used as a bit of a mop to get up all the excess things and wipe my fingers on. I think this one is speckled. Yeah, that one looks more speckled, I think. And this one I think is the mop. I'm just going to tie on one piece of acrylic yarn to the one that was speckled, and 2 on the mop. Yeah, this is definitely the mop. It's far more unravelled than the others. This is just so I know which one is which. Okay, now we can wash these in some cool tap water. Now, there is, as you can see, there was some dye left on the cling film. There's dye on my fingers. I probably should have worn gloves, but oh well, too late now. And I can see there is some bleeding. There usually is with cotton, because it doesn't absorb all the dye. But a little bit of bleeding is fine, so long as it doesn't actually change the colour and you can't see the colour fading. I don't know if you can see, but in the sink, oh no, you can't quite see, so I'll just move you over. There you go, in the sink you got some red, some pink there. Now that has come from one of the dyes. My guess is that it's come from the lavender, and that's what happens when the dye breaks into the colours that it's made of. So I'm just going to keep on rinsing this. I'm going to add a little bit of washing up liquid just to help things, and just keep rinsing this until the water runs clear. Yeah, it's already starting to look much clearer, which is what I want. But cotton does take a little bit longer to rinse clear than animal fibres, just because of the nature of the beast, really. Yeah. There, see, it's already clearing. Gonna keep on doing this for a little bit longer, and then we can hang it out to dry. Here are the 3 finished skeins of floss. Let's have a look at this one first. This one was the one that I hand painted. You can see the colours have all blended together so nicely, and it's a really nice sort of soft changes between the colours. I'm so happy with that one. Next up, we've got the one that I speckled, and you can see there was a lot of colour spread, but you've still got these lovely speckles in here as well, which will look fantastic when they'll just pop up when you're sewing with this. So I'm really happy with how this one's turned out as well. And then finally we've got the one I used as a bit of a mop, and it's a really nice combination of the 2 of these, actually, because you've got some nice speckles, subtle speckles in there, but then also you've got this nice sort of bluey purpley fade colour that goes throughout the skein. So yeah, it's been really happy with how all these have turned out. Now, the 3 colours that I used for this were Mermaid's Dream, Lavender and Blue Violet, and these were all chosen by my Facebook followers, and I will be doing another poll like this again in the future. So if you want to join in, find me on Facebook. I'm From the Cauldron over there. There's a link in the video description. And yeah, keep an eye out for when I do another voting session. Now, I did have some dye left over, which didn't go to waste. I used it to dye this lovely skein of sock yarn. The video for this will be out soon. Not sure when, but soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please do click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I aim to produce a new dyeing tutorial every Monday, and it's normally uploaded between about 6 and 8 PM UK time. I like to experiment with different fibre types and dyes and techniques, so there's always going to be something different. Thank you so much for watching.